Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about the fourth trimester and how it is seeing that we're currently dealing with a pandemic. So grab your popcorn and let's discuss. Okay, so we had our baby a couple of weeks ago and a lot has been happening the world over. Currently there's varying stages of lockdown happening. So you can imagine trying to get used to having a new baby, trying to get used to having all these lockdown rules in place. It's been really interesting trying to navigate the whole scene. So I think the first thing that I was told before my baby came was try to maintain a normal routine. Try to go out, try to, go to those mummy and me clubs. Unfortunately, given everything that's happening, all social contact has been cancelled and all these programs have also been cancelled, which means I don't actually have any of these support groups that I can attend. I don't have other mum adult people that I can talk to and that we can discuss any baby issues with. So that's been a really interesting part of everything and trying to navigate that, and I was really looking forward to meeting other mothers and trying to discuss and just make new friends. So that was a bit of a sad thing, but I think we are pulling through. So how are we keeping sane, you may ask? So there's a lot of online forums that I've currently joined and we're talking to a lot of mothers, and everyone is kind of like in the same boat with me, which is a bit comforting to know that you're not the only person experiencing what's going on at the moment. And it's also really helpful to discuss with other mothers the things, the milestones that they're going through with their own children. But I will say I do have my midwife's number on speed dial just in case if I'm not sure about anything. But it also means I can't just pop into my doctor or my GP at any time to just ask a question and be like, oh, is this rash normal? Is this normal? Do they weigh enough? Is everything okay? So it's been a very steep learning curve in that regard, but we are managing to have like phone calls with our midwives, and that's been really helpful. But definitely the online forums have been super helpful. The other thing that I would say is if you do have a partner or if you do have a support person with you, try to get as much help as possible. I know everyone mentions this before you actually have the baby, but it's actually something that's really important. If you don't have any support with you, that's fine, that's understandable. But if you do have people who are quarantining with you in your household, honestly speaking, don't be scared to ask for help. And there's nothing wrong with saying, could you please help me? Could you please take my baby for a couple of minutes while you get a breather and try to zen in and focus on life a bit more. You could get a bit stir crazy being that we have to be indoors most of the times and probably only go out if we're doing exercises depending on the level of your lockdown or isolation. So we really have to get really creative with your time out and trying to keep your sanity, which is really important, especially when you have to look after a little human being 24/7. The other thing that I've noticed with the fourth trimester is healing. So healing varies for people and it can be anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. Even more, it depends with how your birth and delivery was. But to be fair, we really should be hard on each other. So however quick or however slow it takes when it comes to healing, that's okay. And that's actually a big part of the fourth trimester, I think, which a lot of people don't actually talk about or really warn you about. They do just say, giving birth is going to be painful. After that, you forget everything. You won't be in any pain at all. But no one really talks about the aftercare that you have to give yourself. Sitting up for too long can be strenuous. Lifting your baby can even be strenuous. There's so many issues which can arise from your aftercare delivery, and honestly, it's a learning curve, and it's a very steep one again when it comes to that. The other thing with having a baby during a pandemic is that we don't actually have a lot of family and friends who are able to come over and see your baby and help out as well. So the one thing that people really love when they have their babies is to show off the baby so that people can meet the baby and everyone just comes together and rejoices. That's the one thing that I found has been really challenging. We haven't been able to share the moment physically with family and friends. Although I will say we have been able to make use of technology by video calling, by sending through picture messages and all of that, just to try and bring people into the scenario with us. But to be fair, it's not the same as having, you know, the whole big family or the whole group of friends with you and everyone going ooh, ah, and, you know, everyone just passing the baby around. So that's one of the things that I'm really, really sad about. But at the same time, I do understand that the safety of the baby does come first before my safety or before anyone else's safety. So that's been a really challenging thing. But thank goodness for technology, because without it, I don't know, I can't imagine if we had to isolate and it was like in the 1980s or something and technology wasn't where it is today, what we would actually be doing. I don't want to think about it. So what else is it? Yes. You do know how everyone is like, oh, you know, try to keep time for yourself to do the things that you loved to do before you had the baby. Be it going out for coffee, getting your nails done, getting your hair done. But as you guys all know, all of these things are not actually very possible at the moment, especially getting your hair and nails done, because most of them are not actually considered essential services. So that pampering time, that time is really, really difficult to try to carve out with everything that's going through. But what I can say is, while indoors, you can try to look for a little hobby which you can do. Let's say if you enjoy cooking, be it cooking or catching up on one of your Netflix shows, or even working out at home. Whatever really takes your mind off everything and tries to get you as calm and as peaceful as possible is definitely a great option. And another thing about the 4th trimester is the changes that you'll experience with your body and everything that's happening when it comes to that. So you can imagine, once you've given birth, there's definitely going to be changes with your body. You've had 9 months of having this big belly all in front of you, and now you're trying to get used to having no belly and, you know, dealing with swelling. For myself, I got really swollen after giving birth, and I had no swelling while I was pregnant at all. So, you know, it's trying to deal with these things. It can even be about your body image. Your body will definitely look different from before birth, during birth, and the end. So it's just coming to terms with these things without being too hard on yourself, and understanding that it does take time for everything to go back to normal, and for yourself to feel, I could say maybe 100%, where you're really comfortable with yourself. But I would also say, don't be too hard on yourselves, mamas, because you guys are doing amazing. And at the end of the day, your body is just one part of all the little things which you're trying to do to make sure that everything keeps going well. And honestly speaking, your little one doesn't really notice the changes with your body. They just care that there's milk and that there's warmth and comfort and love. So yeah, I think that's one of the things. So above all, enjoy your time getting to know your baby, because there's so much to learn and everything is like really interesting, but every day is so different from the previous day because the growth spurts are ridiculous, but it's so precious at the same moment. So enjoy your baby, learn your baby, and you know, the 4th trimester, to be fair, is just like I think any other trimester. It's just about you stumbling through everything, learning from yourself, learning what works for you, and you know, just enjoying every single moment and the memories that you make. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little, you know, having one during the pandemic, and, you know, seeing how we're trying to keep sane with everything. If you like this video, please make sure to subscribe